In this video, I'm going to teach you how to create the zip forms. So the first thing that I like to do is just read up top. It has any notes, anything that I thought was important, I'll put it up top. And then we're going to hop down into the checklist. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the listing docs zip form. How we're going to do that, we're just going to click on the link here. And we're going to click right here where it says Access Now. It's going to validate the membership. And we're going to go ahead and press Continue. Go ahead and press Skip if this pops up. Okay, this is zip forms. So this is where we create all of our documents. So the first thing we'll do is we'll do a new document. And we'll do a new listing. Okay, so the name, I need a name or an address. So what I'm going to do is just minimize this page. I'm going to hop back into Process Street, which is our checklist, and I'm going to look into the address. So here it is. It's always up top here. It would also be in the CRS data. So property information is in the CRS data as well. So if you don't see the address anywhere, then you're going to have to search it in the CRS data. Since we know this is the address, let's go back and we minimize that page, so we're going to go ahead and grab it. And we're going to put the address. And then it's going to have a drop down, and we're going to click the appropriate address here. They're all residential listings, and they're all going to be the listing agreement, 2019 listing agreement. And we'll go ahead and save that. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to hop into where it says Documents. And these are all the templated documents for the seller agreement. So the cover sheet here, when this is filled in, it's going to auto-populate all the documents here. So we're going to go ahead and fill as much as we can in the cover sheet. So I'm scrolling down because we're working with the seller. Okay, if there's two sellers, then we're going to put two names. If there's one seller, obviously we just fill in one contact here. So now what we got to do is we got to find this information. So we could minimize this page again, and we're going to go search for it. We could also check on the boxes of what we completed. So we've created the list docs in zip forms. So create new listing and fill in the appropriate address. So we have not done that. We're looking for all the contact information right now. The best way to find the contact information is one, by pulling up the CRS data. And I actually have a link provided here. We're going to go ahead and log into the MLS. Paragon, right here. Okay, so now we want to find the tax record. The CRS data is right in the tax record. CRS data. Okay, so again, we want to type in the address and it'll overpopulate. I think I already have it copied and pasted, which I do. So I could go ahead and click on the address. Now it's doing a quick search, and here we go. So this is the CRS data, which has all the information about the property that we'll need. Okay, here we go. So we got the seller's name right here. We got the property address. We also have the APN and tax number. And these are all the things that we're going to need to fill out the all the documents. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the zip forms again. and remind myself what I'm looking for. So I need the seller's name and the address. So let's find that first. Again, minimize. Seller's name. Because this is going to have the correct spelling of the seller's name. So we can see that the seller is right here. Shaiwan Whitesell. So this is the first name. It usually is spelled last name and then first name. So we want to copy. We could just take a copy of everything. Hop back into zip forms. Do a copy paste. So now this is backwards. So we just want to make sure it's in first name, last name, correct order. Next is the street address, so same thing. Just keep going back and forth, grabbing all the data. Just copying and pasting what we need. Address. Again, I copy pasted it. It's the one in San Diego. I click on that. It auto-populates. So since she's the only name on the profile, we're only filling out one. If there was two names, we fill out this guy right here. We also need to find if we have this person's cell phone and email. And the way I find that is, I'm going to minimize this again, and we're going to go search for that. So it's not going to, the email and the phone number is not going to be in the CRS data, but we should have collected their contact information and saved it in our CRM. And so I even have right here for number 3, I say seller's phone and email is in contactually. So let's go search for that here. Okay. I'm just going to search for you could either search for her name or the address. So I think it was XIAO. And it's Zywan Whitesell. There it is. So we're going to click on her contact information. So here's all the contact info we have gathered so far from this seller. We have the seller's name. We have the seller's phone. Sometimes we'll have the seller's email, and if we have that, we're going to upload it. If we don't, we're just going to use what we have. So now that we have at least the seller's phone number, we could copy this. Hop back into our minimized zip forms. And we go ahead and paste the phone number. And then I backspace, make this look clean. And we don't have a second seller, so we're going to skip that. And the last thing on this, we're just going to fill out the assessor's parcel number. And we find that by going to the CRS data again. And in the CRS data, it's right here, the APN tax ID. So we're just going to copy this information. And we're going to paste it right here in the assessor's parcel number. We could do some backspace, make sure this is at the beginning. And now we're all clean here. So let's go ahead and save that. And go back. We have one more thing to complete. Since we filled out the cover sheet, it has uploaded all the information into these documents here. And I can show you for an example. Let's click on the residential listing agreement. And if I scroll down, you can see how it auto-populated the information. Since there's not a second seller, we can check this box because usually there is a second seller. But since there's not, let's unclick that. And then the last thing we want to do actually is we're going to look for where it says the residential listing agreement, and we're going to fill out one piece of information on here. So right here up top, we're actually going to go and fill this in. And so I'm going to bring you back to the CRS data one more time and see where it says current owner, and we see where it says name. So we're going to take exactly what it says here, because sometimes it says, like a trust or something. But whatever it says, we're just going to copy it exactly, and then we'll hop back into the zip forms. Let's take out this comma, and we're just going to do a copy and paste. There we go. Whatever it says in the CRS data, we're going to keep it exactly how it is there, just for this part. So it could say like, someone's trust or 2 names here. It's fine. Whatever it was, we're just copying and pasting it. Last thing, we're just saving this, going back. And this information now is all complete. So why don't we save this now? So let's save it as a PDF. And I'm going to take the information that I'm going to bring to the listing agreement. I'm not going to take all these documents. It's just too much. But what I like to take there is the seller to exclude from the MLS document. I like to take the residential listing agreement document. The disclosures. We don't need the transfer disclosures for now, but I'll need the additional agent acknowledgement, and I'll also need the buyer representation agreement. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different documents that I'm going to bring to the listing appointment. All right, let's press next. Save to my device. Press save. We'll click to download that. Okay, so we have 23 pages. We're going to save this now. So I'm going to show you where I save these kinds of documents for the potential listing agreement. Because we have so many, I save it in a file that's temporary. So I'm going to show you how to get there. So with the Mac, when I save stuff, I usually go to Other on the bottom. And then I'll find the Google Drive. And then I want to go to the EtSquad folder. The EtSquad folder is where all the documents you'll ever need is going to be. So see where it says temporary files? We're going to save this document into our temporary files for now. And then I have my separate folder just for me. And we're going to save the documents. We'll just save it in this temporary folder. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save it there. I'm remembering that the name of the document is 4485 Verada Mar yada yada yada. Okay, so let's move that in there. Okay, it's saved. We can X out of that. I'm just going to minimize this page. And now we can finally hop back into Process Street. So I know that I've now created the new listing. We filled in the appropriate address. We filled out that cover sheet and the seller information. We've also filled out the assessor's parcel number. We've also copied and pasted the current owner's number from the CRS data. And we've saved the listing contract to zip forms. Last thing, we're just going to upload it right here. And we're going to go find that file. So it's already doing a quick recent find for me. So I know it's in Quintemporary. And then I mentioned that, here it is, 4485 Verada Mar. Let's click on that and give it an open. It's going to open right here. Alright, so we're pretty much done. Last but not least, we're going to message all the agents that the task has been complete. And how I like to do that is, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's these @ signs that pull up the seller's or our agent's names. And you can just go ahead and put them in. So my name's not popping up because I'm using my profile, but when we use a different profile, my name should pop up. But for now, it doesn't matter. So last thing is, we're going to copy right over here. We're just going to copy the part under the @ signs and do a paste under ours. This is going to notify the agents that the task is complete. Last thing is, see how it says 123 Main Street? So we just want to fill in the appropriate address right here. So highlighting it, I'm pasting it. Now it says listing docs for 4485 Verada Mar are ready. And then I would just press comment. Once that's complete, we're done creating the zip forms. And that's the end of the video.